Good morning, TPO. As I said a few minutes ago, it's very difficult to get a lot of people out here and give a tour of the project site. So we thought this morning I'd take you around and give you a little bit of a video of the work that's going on. We're here right now on the South Island at the field office. So we're on a second story platform that looks out over the South Island so you can see firsthand what's going on. So here we go. You're looking at the north end of the South Island right now. So this is where the slurry treatment plant will be built. Right now, the concrete reinforced steel is being tied for the pad there. So behind the gray crane is the structure, basically the conveyor belt. This will take the material when it's separated after it comes out from the excavation, and this will carry it to a barge and dump on a barge and be taken away. Now you're looking at the TBM slab. This is where the major components of the TBM are being put together. So you see in the tent, and we'll be over there in a minute to look at the welding operation on the cutter's head itself. So you're looking at the launching pit right now. So this is where the TBM will start. As you can see out, the white crane in the background is the gantry crane. So the tunnel liner segments, so the actual concrete segments that will make up the tunnel will come in by barge, be offloaded on that TBM quay, and then the gantry crane will come over the shaft and lower the elements into the shaft to be placed by the TBM. Now you're looking at the rest of the launching pit, and the TBM has a trailing gear. In all, the cutter head and trailing gear is about 430 feet long. So we'll talk about that more in a few minutes. But off the back of the shaft is basically where you will drive out of the tunnel. So that's the portal, and we're going through ground improvement in the back of the shaft right now. So let's go over and take a closer look at things. Okay, so here's a stairwell to get us down into the shaft. We're in the bottom of the launching pit. We're about 70 feet below ground level in cell 1. So what's behind me is basically, it's called the shuttering pipe. So this is a sealing ring for the TBM. So the TBM will start its bore here on the South Island, go to the North Island, and then come back and end its bore here on the South Island. So you can see on the right where the shuttering pipe is where it will start. So you can see the pink marks on the concrete wall. That is where the TBM will do its return trip and break through, and basically that'll be the completion of the tunneling. So you can see how close these tunnels are together. The tunnel boring method allows you to keep these tunnels close. So to talk about the gantry crane, it will come across the shaft here. So what you're looking at is the shuttering pipe, but also the head wall. So that concrete is going to come all the way to the top of the shaft, and there will be a rail, and that's how the gantry crane will come across and lower the liner segments into the shaft. So both of these tunnels, when we're complete, will be carrying traffic eastbound. So they'll be coming out, and both tunnels will then come together in the roadway. And we'll show you some more of the shaft here in a second. So we're up here in cell 2, taking a look at where the tunnel boring machine will go into the head wall and then the slurry walls. One of the things with concern is just getting the machine through the concrete into the island to do the boring. So one of the things that the joint venture's done is a soft eye. So what you're looking at inside the ring, the concrete, they've actually taken out some of the concrete, the stronger concrete, and put in a leaner mix to make sure they don't damage the cutter tools, the center tools, and the cutter head. So now we're going to swing around from cell 1 to cell 2. Again, this is going back out of the shaft from here. So let's look at cell 2. We'll talk more about cell 3 in just a minute. We're up on cell 2 on the platform we just looked at from cell 1. So what you're looking at here on the right is the pour we just did in cell 3 over the weekend. So Saturday, they poured 3,700 yards of concrete. So this is actually reinforced concrete, steel reinforced concrete. It's about 7 feet thick, and it goes the whole span of cell 3. So we'll go up there in a minute and take a look at that. It's still covered up from the pour this weekend. So we're in cell 3 now. This is the pour that I just talked about. It was 24 hours for these guys to make this pour. And you can see it's about 170 feet wide and about 150 feet long. You can see the entire shaft is about 350 feet long. So it's a full football field inside of what we've excavated out. So that's what we have right now from the standpoint of 3 going to 2 to 1 in the shaft. So we've just turned around at the top of cell 3 and we're looking southward toward the existing bridge. So this whole area in here is significant ground improvement for the traffic and actually the portal when you come out of the tunnel. You can see on the right one of the jet grout machines that they're using to help do the ground improvement. The crane in the far distance to the right is actually setting the piles for the south trestle that's going to come into the island and tie into the island just off the edge there. Okay, we're on the TBM quay, which again I will bring in the concrete segment liners that will make up the tunnel. Right now, as you can see, it's being used as a staging area for a lot of the steel that's going into the pit. And you can see the gantry crane that's back behind us that will be the workhorse once we start tunneling. So right now we're outside the tent where they're welding the cutter head of the TBM. And we'll talk more about this in the future, but I just want to kind of stick the camera in here and take a look at this machine. So the cutter head is right now face up. You recognize the green and blue colors of Hampton Roads, and you can see the pieces as they come together. This is a full-time operation. It's going for the next 2 to 3 months. So this is just a look at the tail skin and welding that together as well. So this goes with the TBM, and to the left of that you can see the other components of the TBM that will be put together. So I've talked about the reinforced concrete with the steel. So there's a tremendous amount of steel going to this job. So you see in front of me, this is actually the slurry treatment plant platform. This is about 4 foot thick steel reinforced concrete, and it's back-breaking labor. It's a lot of hard work. I've been out here for 2 years tying this steel for everything that's going inside the, all the concrete you've looked at is reinforced with this kind of bar steel. Okay, we're on the North Island looking north. I'm actually standing on what will be the receiving pit. So this is where the tunnel boring machine from the South Island will come to the North Island and break out right about where we're standing. And then it will turn on a turntable in this round area here and start the bore back. Right now you can see behind me is the machines, the hydro mills, and this is what's doing all of the deep walls. So the walls that you saw on the South Island, all of those concrete walls are built with these machines that you're looking at straight ahead. So with the big round wheel, those are the hydro mills, and they basically excavate down. On the South Island, we went down to 180 feet. This particular one is doing the approach section into the tunnel. So this is what you'll be driving, basically where all the red cranes back behind you. We'll go take a look at that in a minute, but that's where the bridge is coming into the island, and you're gonna go into the tunnels right about where we're standing now and go to the South Island from the North Island. So we're standing on a platform on the west side of the North Island. This is for access around the receiving pit that we were just standing on. And we're looking north. So what you can see north is all of the cranes that are doing the north trestle work. So we'll go up there in a minute and take a closer look at those. But here's a good perspective. Again, this whole island, 15 acres, was not here a year and a half ago. So we've built the island and are actually building the approach structure coming into it. We're at the north end of the North Island. This is where the trestle will be coming in. And behind me, you can see permanent works for both the eastbound structures. So the 4-lane will come and split into 2 lanes and feed into the 2 tunnels. So that brings us to the end of the tour for today. So you can see a lot of work's been done in the last 6 to 8 months. So more to come as the construction continues, and we can provide another update in the future. Thank you.